Chapter 12, Me and the Media. All right, so people love to talk about the names I've used over the years, the whole anonymity thing, trying to keep my private life somewhat private. But let's be real, it's been a long time since that was even an option. And after everything my family has been dragged through, can you really blame me for trying? The early days of UPL and EDL? Yeah, there were plenty of wild moments, and behind each one, there was usually a reason. Same goes for the different names I used. At the time, they seemed like solid moves. Some, obviously, not as smart as I thought. Dealing with obvious enemies, radical extremists, far-left Marxist types, or those UAF head cases, was one thing. At least with them, you knew where you stood. But trying to get the EDL recognized as a legit protest movement? Our biggest ops weren't even those guys. It was the so-called neutral British press, the government, and the lawmakers. Since day one, with a few rare exceptions, the media coverage on us has been lazy at best, straight up malicious at worst. Flashback to our first UPL demo, we showed up with signs, and one of the biggest ones literally said, "National Front, go to hell." We weren't here for far-right nonsense. We were standing against extremist gangs ruining our town and our kids' futures. And yet, what did my local paper say? That we were far-right extremists. I was like, what the actual hell are they on about? All we wanted to do was walk through town, hold a minute of silence. That's it, just to show that regular folks in Luton backed our troops. But nah, the media couldn't be bothered to get the story right. Instead, we got boxed into their lazy labels: far-right, racist, extremist, thug. And apparently, that included our moms, wives, and grandmas too. Make it make sense. Yeah, most of us look like a bunch of football hooligans because, let's be honest, we kind of were. But we were also just regular, working-class people standing up for what we believed in. Nothing complicated about it. And when we spoke out against the Islamification of our country, without attacking anyone, blowing anything up, or beheading people, suddenly, having that opinion was a crime. Like, how did we even get here? It's funny how the working class is good enough to go fight and die in wars for the elites, but the second we start questioning what's happening in our own communities, we're the bad guys. How does that work? Honestly, someone explain it to me. I'm all ears. And it's not like I've ever been scared to debate these things, even when I knew I was walking straight into a setup. I've learned to spot a let's gang up on Tommy situation from a mile away now, but back then, not so much. I wasn't even a big news guy back in the UPL and early EDL days. Didn't watch News at 10, Question Time Newsnight, and I definitely didn't know about right-wing versus left-wing newspapers. No clue. So when The Guardian hit me up for an interview, I went in blind. Showed up with 3 of my mates, Isaac, Benji, and Dorset, who's like 6'5" and an absolute unit. And guess what? They were all black. We sat down, I laid it all out, what was happening in Luton, the radicalization, the social issues. I thought I was having a real convo. Then the article dropped. And bruh, they still called me a racist. Completely ignored the fact that I showed up with my black best mates. Like how? Make sense. That was my first real taste of national media BS, and people told me you don't talk to The Guardian. I was like, huh? It's just a newspaper. Nah. Turns out, some of these papers aren't about reporting. They're about pushing their own narrative. That was a wake-up call. But the real oh damn moment came when I realized how deep the media's bias ran. These people weren't just twisting the truth. They were straight up lying. The same thing happened when I let Tom Costello from Channel 4 into my life for over a year. He filmed everything. I even invited him to my wedding. Thought he'd be fair. Nope. Dude straight up played me. He acted like we were mates the whole time, then dropped a documentary called Proud and Prejudiced, making me look like some extremist lunatic. They even edited footage to make it seem like I was saying Breivik, as in Anders Breivik, the mass murderer, when I was literally just joking around saying, ribbit, ribbit. Like, they really did me dirty. And then Channel 4 sent him on a vacation for protection, in case I got mad. LMAO. These people are jokes. So yeah, over time, I got smarter, learned the game. I started leveraging my interviews to at least get something out of it. Free meals, travel, whatever. If they were going to twist my words anyway, might as well get a steak dinner first. The media, though, They never got tired of calling me a Nazi fascist racist thug. Even when I literally fought against Nazis, even when I left the EDL, they just kept pushing the same BS. And it's not just the press. The BBC, ITV, the lot of them, fake neutrality. Behind the scenes, so many of them would secretly tell me they agreed, but they'd never say it publicly. Cowards. One time I went on BBC Three's Free Speech, thinking it'd be a fair debate. Nope. Total ambush. Some guy literally suggested I should be put on an island and bombed with anthrax. And the audience cheered. And yet, I'm the extremist? But guess what? That episode hit over 250K views on YouTube and got thousands of comments supporting me. So yeah, let the left-wing mob keep exposing themselves. It only makes our point clearer. Same thing happened when I went on Newsnight with Jeremy Paxman. The far-left crowd thought he was going to destroy me. Instead, I held my own, and the next day, the Daily Mail was saying, Tommy made Paxman look average. Look, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've made mistakes. I've gotten in trouble. But that doesn't mean my points aren't valid. People think it's easy standing up against this stuff. It's not. It costs you your reputation, your safety, your future. And the media? They'll never play fair. But here's the thing. I've learned how to work their game too. And no matter how many hit pieces they drop, the truth always gets out. And that's the real battle. This version keeps the core message.